Well, how is everybody? Hope life is treating you well. I wanted to give you a little bit of an update on the Born Again Mustang. I'm running my air out here. It's really hot already. And kind of tell you where I'm at. I haven't made a ton of progress, so let me give you some quick updates as to, where I am and what's going on. Since the last video that I made, well, I made was the video about the front end of the car, and I'm still trying to track those down. Fiberglass parts are really hard to come by, and it's that supply chain thing or whatever that other junk is that they're making up. But anyway, it is what it is. Still trying to find that, but I've had a lot of work left to do to the car. And let me just show you that, and I'm gonna talk you through it and kind of tell you what's going on. So you've got to be tired already of actually seeing this particular part of the car, and you're probably going, my gosh, man, how long is it going to be before he finally gets that finished? Well, it's taken me a lot longer, and I'm just going to be completely honest with you. If I were to do this car again, I would not do what I'm doing, and I'm just recommending not doing it. But I wound up having to build all the interior. There's our mini tubs. You can see where I added to the fender wells, and you're seeing where I'm getting everything welded in. Unfortunately, when you weld sheet metal, it just takes a lot of work. I mean, it is time consuming. So I'm gonna say this to you, if you take on one of these projects, one of the most, I believe, monotonous, time consuming part of it is the sheet metal welding part of it. I like the mechanical part. I'm not a sheet metal guy, and I'm definitely not a body guy. So this has been one of those things where it just takes a lot of time. I haven't had a lot of time to give you just a quick insight. Frankly, in my life, in my household, we've been busy. We had storms hit our area a few months back. It took 3 weeks of us working with people about the storms and dealing with all the stuff that goes with that. And I mean, just to be honest with you, it's just one of those things where... So here we are. Take a look at that. A little bit of body filler on some of those seams. That's the seams that are going to kind of be visible. Here's what's crazy, and you're going to ask me why. Underneath my fuel tank, I actually put body filler there too. I don't know why I want that to look decent, but I do. So I did body filler that part. All of this is going to get a big shot of paint on it. It's going to get some seam sealer around the seams, but I just felt like dressing up this seam a little bit right here. And I've considered dressing the seam up that's back here. Let me just let you look at it. I've considered, so I'm dressing this seam. I know you body guys are gonna go, that's awful. And you're right, I'm not gonna deny it. I'm gonna dress that seam up probably and that stuff. It's gonna get paint on it. It's probably gonna from this point forward, they'll have carpet on it. So I don't think I'm gonna mess with that, just now that I'm thinking about it. From here back though, it's just gonna be paint. So that's what we're doing. Somebody get excited, I know, because I am. We gotta let this set up for a little bit, and then we'll come back and we're gonna like that. And it'll be looking sick. So we're getting closer, look at that. Then we're gonna shoot some epoxy primer, not regular primer, epoxy primer. It's better. I don't know if it is or not, but maybe it is, we'll see. Okay, so mistakes were made. Let me show you kind of, this is where I started. Piece of metal, I pre-drilled these pilot holes. Went and did my dimple die. Distorted the metal too close to the edge. It had to pull metal from that edge. Yeah, just a waste of time and material's expensive, so sorry my air conditioner's loud in the background. So here's my second run at it. I went ahead and pre-drilled these holes. I bought on Amazon a carbide tipped blade that matches my dimple die, 1 5/8. And so it matches it. I'm gonna go ahead and press these out and then I'll trim the edges. That'll give me enough material where hopefully it doesn't distort the metal and what I'm trying to build. So we'll see, but this is definitely not the way to do it. Don't do it like that. This might be the better way. My dimple dies, so let me say this. My dimple dies have a die cutter that you actually are only supposed to have to drill that hole, and the cutter punches the center out and then does the dimple die both in the same time. What I'm finding is that when the piece of metal is too small on both sides, or there's not enough material there, it distorts it like that. So it winds up folding the metal up. So I'm gonna try this. I added more material. I'll cut the edges off to where I need it to be when I'm done, but hopefully this will actually give me a nice smooth dimple die cut. We'll see. Okay, so I wanted to give you guys another update. I know that I've kind of finished the video based on this structure, and we're talking about still what I'm doing in the back of the car. So this video is a little schizophrenic, forgive me for that. But I did go ahead and put a screw in this piece, and I wanted to let you see it, and I want to talk to you about how this works. So what we're doing is, I'm not building a roll cage for a car that I'm gonna drive on the street. And I do see cars that do that, and I know people that do that, and I don't have a problem with that. But what I am saying though is that I didn't want all the bulkiness. There's already not a ton of room inside these Mustangs anyway, and you put a roll cage in there, it makes it to where the back seat is completely, unusable. And I'm not super positive how usable my back seat's gonna be, because I'm gonna need to move my seats back a little bit, but I'm still gonna have a back seat in it. So I guess what I'm saying is a roll cage just becomes like your passengers. You've got a roll cage. Now, I'm gonna shore mine up by strengthening it the way that I'm doing it right now. So what this does is, and I'm gonna back up just a little bit. What this does is this is adding strength to the A-pillar. This is gonna be translated. Now, if you'll notice, the dash is actually part of the car's structure. I'm gonna weld this to the edge of the dash here. There's gonna be some other stuff that's actually below this on that toe kick area. I'm gonna put some structure in there. And so basically what's gonna happen is my A-pillar is gonna be strengthened from the floor, tied into the torque box, all the way up. It's gonna be strengthened. Now, across the front, and I'm not gonna do this yet because I've really gotta get the other interior stuff done. Across the top, I'm gonna build another one of these, and it's gonna be made out of probably 18 gauge, probably, maybe 16. It's gonna go across the top, and now all of a sudden, and then down that A-pillar on that side, all the way down to the floor. So now all of a sudden, you basically have a hoop that's stronger in the car. That's how the car was designed anyway. This will be a lot stronger, and you won't have to have a roll cage in it. Now, I wanna be clear. I am not saying that this, so before I get comments, I'm not saying this is what you would use to replace a roll cage. If you're gonna drag race a car, you're gonna be doing some sketchy stuff and you're wanting safety and security, this is not the way to do it. But if you're talking about taking a car that was made with technologies that was from the 60s, now remember, we didn't even have power windows hardly back then. So you're gonna take technology from the 60s and bring it into today. This is one of the ways that you can strengthen it. In the instance, which hopefully would be rare, that your car were to find itself on its roof, this is going to help the roof's integrity. Now, I'm also going to put the same type of strengthening in the B pillar and across the roof as well. Now, someone might say, well, how's your headliner going to fit? I'm not running a headliner in my car. My car is going to have, I'll show you when I get to that point, but it's going to be a spray on like a bed liner insulation. So it'll be a black, crinkly, hard, but it will insulate the car from the outside elements, but it will not have a cloth headliner. And I'm going to have structurals, you know, some cool looking stuff like that, Dimple dye metal in the actual roof of the car. So that's one of the reasons why some people have been asking me, well, you know, why is it taking you so long to do the Born Again Mustang? Well, it is because I'm not doing it like you normally would, and I'm doing it when I want to do it, and I'm not on a schedule, and I don't do it for a living. So I do it when I want to, how I want to. And I enjoy doing this, and I like putting details in my car like this that you're not going to see in every other car like this. So it takes a little bit longer. Could it be faster? Would it be faster to not include these pieces? Absolutely it would be, but then it wouldn't be my car. I'm building my car, and you build your car. That's up to you. So that's where that is, and that's where we're going to stop for this video. So I just want to come back and revisit that. I'm going to have an update video on the rest of the interior coming up here pretty soon. I've got the Bondo in the back set up. It's time to grind it. I need to go get some 40 grit discs for my DA, and then I'm going to knock that out. Most of the welding on the inside of the interior is done, so the car's getting closer, y'all. Getting closer to where the interior. Once the interior's finished, I'm going to shoot epoxy primer on everything clean it up real good on the inside. Shoot epoxy primer on everything on the inside. Then I fasten the body panels on. Someone says, why isn't the body welded on yet? A lot of people weld their body on before they primer the inside. This has weld through, it's like a galvanizing material. That's what these silver panels have on them. I'm gonna go ahead and shoot actual primer on mine and have that under, and I'm gonna shoot a coat of paint. I have got some tractor paint, and I'll talk to you about that. Super hard. The people who make the paint for John Deere tractors, I bought their paint, has a hardener, flat, it's a matte, not flat, but it's a matte black. I'm gonna probably put 2 coats of that inside the car everywhere that I'm not gonna be doing any more welding. And so that way the interior will be sealed up, and when I start putting panels on, I won't have a piece of metal that's tucked away that's gonna be rusting. So that's the story with that. So it's gonna be just a little bit longer. I feel like still by the end of the summer, my goals are the same. When I say the end of the summer, I'm gonna say 1st of September, my goals are to have the interior completely finished, and the car setting on all 4 wheels and tires as a roller, to enter into fall and winter starting on drivetrain, motor, transmission, and all that goes along with that. So I'm hoping, and I'm having conversations right now with a parts distributor that may be willing to play ball with me on the Shelby front end parts. If not, I'm not sure that I'm gonna go with Shelby, and I'll talk about that and update that in another video. So anyway, hope you guys are doing well. God bless you. If I can ever pray for you, do anything for you, let me know. I'd love to do that. So this is where we are, Born Again Mustang.